You can follow their road and still never arrive. That's the ache I've known too well. You walk faithfully, step by step, along a path laid out for you. It has all the markers of safety, clear directions, nods of approval from those watching, traditions passed down to keep you steady. You do everything right. And yet, somewhere inside, a quiet voice whispers, "This isn't yours." The end of the road grows nearer, but the self you were meant to live remains far behind. I remember nights when I lay awake, replaying the choices I had made to satisfy others. On paper, they looked correct. Respectable job, dependable routines, predictable milestones. People approved. They said, "Well done," and smiled with pride. But when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't escape the emptiness staring back. I was walking down a road that belonged to everyone but me. Stephen carries this conflict each day. He once confessed, "I feel torn between what tradition tells me to be and who I actually am. I want to honor them, but sometimes I feel like I'm disappearing." Angela, though she moves differently, has admitted the same hesitation. I wait for someone to nod, to tell me it's okay to take a step. And when the nod never comes, I stay still. Both reveal the same paradox. Belonging can steady you, but it can also silence you. The longing for courage comes when you realize their road, no matter how safe, will never take you home. I left England for Australia against almost everyone's advice. I was young, carrying 2 suitcases that felt heavier with each step. The airport air smelled of metal and coffee, announcements echoing overhead. My family's words still rang in my ears. "It's too far. It's too risky. Why would you leave what's known?" Their concern was love, but it was also fear. They wanted me safe. They wanted me close. But something in me knew I had to go. I remember the weight of those suitcases digging into my palms, the quiet terror of boarding a plane that would take me across oceans. I remember stepping out into Australian air for the first time, warm, dry, filled with scents I couldn't name. Everything was unfamiliar, and yet something in me felt alive. For the first time, the road beneath my feet was mine. Approval can walk with you, but it can't walk for you. That was the contradiction I began to understand. If I had stayed to honor their wishes, I would have remained safe, yes, but I would have been unfinished. By leaving, I risked their disappointment, but I also discovered myself. Stephen has said quietly, "I've lived so much of my life for them. I don't know if I've lived any of it for me." Angela once sighed, "I wait for their approval, but it never arrives, and I waste whole years waiting." Their honesty brings me back to that airport, to the suitcases in my hands, to the moment I realized approval could follow me or abandon me, but either way, I had to walk. A road borrowed is a road unfinished. That's the truth of migration carved into me. A road borrowed is a road unfinished. Those words have guided me through so many crossroads. Approval feels comforting, tradition feels steady, safety feels kind. They quiet the doubt for a while. But if the road you walk was built entirely by others, no matter how far you go, you will never arrive at yourself. Distance does not equal belonging. Reaching the end does not equal coming home. I once came across a perspective that struck me. The only road that matters is the one your feet touch. It sounds simple, but it unsettles me deeply. Because I realized how many of my steps had landed on roads that weren't mine. Roads paved by culture, by family, by expectation. They were smooth, respectable, even admired, yet every step felt hollow because the road wasn't alive of my own choosing. Stephen once asked me, "Have you ever lived someone else's dream and called it yours?" His question carried the weight of his struggle, trying to honor tradition while quietly aching for his own voice. The tension is real. Duty can disguise itself as destiny until you notice you are vanishing inside it. Angela admitted to me, "I wait for permission, but permission never comes. And while I wait, my road disappears beneath me." Her confession reveals the other side. When you live in resistance to expectation, waiting endlessly for approval to leave, your life still passes. Both of them remind me of what I've come to believe. Approval can walk beside you, but it can never walk for you. There is another line I've scribbled in my journal. Safety can be a cage, risk can be home. I still resist it because it unsettles me. I was raised to believe safety meant success, that the most well-lit road was the one worth taking. But I have learned that safety without authenticity is suffocation. Risk, on the other hand, may tremble beneath you, but it breathes. Risk is alive. The roads that frighten us most are often the ones that finally bring us home. The detour is this. You don't need their map. The step you take is the map. Each choice, each risk, each breath of courage lays the road as you walk. The path doesn't exist until you step into it. And that is both its terror and its gift. So I ask myself often, am I walking mine or theirs? And if I am still waiting for their nod, how many miles of my life will I miss before I begin? The question unsettles me every time. But maybe that unsettledness is the sign that the road beneath me is finally alive. Pilgrims walk different paths, but they all walk toward the same sunrise. I once spent a morning along a trail where pilgrims had passed for centuries. The path was uneven, stones worn smooth by countless feet. Some walkers carried staffs, some carried heavy packs, some walked lightly with almost nothing at all. They came from different towns, spoke different languages, carried different reasons for walking, and yet each step moved them east toward the same horizon. What struck me most wasn't the destination, it was the differences. No two journeys looked alike. Some walked quickly, eager to arrive. Others paused often, resting, noticing flowers by the roadside. A few limped, slowed by blisters or injury, but still they walked. And still the sun rose for each of them. That morning, I realized something I had missed in my own life. Approval makes us believe there is only one way, one speed, one map to follow. But life is wider than that. Each step taken in honesty moves us toward the sunrise, even if no one else approves of the pace or direction. Stephen once told me, "I follow the path tradition handed me. But some nights I wonder if the sunrise I'm walking toward is even mine." Angela admitted, "I wait for someone to affirm me before I step. And while I wait, I watch others live." Their words remind me of those pilgrims. So many different ways to walk, but all still valid, all still alive. I stood on that trail until the light grew golden and the footsteps faded into the distance. Each walker carried their own story. Each step was its own courage. And the sunrise didn't ask for anyone's approval. It rose anyway. Approval can walk with you, but it can't walk for you. Stephen's struggle mirrors this truth. "I want to honor them," he said softly, "but sometimes honoring them feels like erasing me." Angela's voice holds the other edge. "I wait for their approval, but it never comes. And so I wait years, standing still." Their honesty brings me back to my own steps through airports, across oceans, down roads that no one else understood. Approval sometimes followed me, sometimes it didn't. But either way, it was never enough to walk for me. The detour is gentler than I once thought. You don't need to tear up every tradition, nor abandon every voice. You simply need to notice whose road you're actually on. Approval and authenticity are not enemies, but only one can carry you. I've written a line in my journal that still steadies me. You don't need their map. The step you take is the map. Each time I read it, I remember that waiting for permission is another way of vanishing. Roads are built by walking, not by nods from the sidelines. So I ask myself, what road am I still waiting to begin? And what step, however small, would be enough to finally make it mine? Theirs may be safer. Yours is alive. That truth hums through me tonight as I sit by the window watching headlights trace across the dark road outside. I think of leaving England with 2 heavy suitcases, afraid but alive. I think of pilgrims walking uneven paths, each toward the same sunrise. I think of Stephen, torn between tradition and self, and Angela waiting for approval that never arrives. Their words, their silences, their struggles remind me of my own, the risk of choosing your road and the ache of not. The road itself feels unfinished until I step onto it. For so long, I thought a path had to be proven before I could trust it. Mapped, measured, already blessed by others. But no road is finished before we walk it. It is born with each step we dare to take. Approval may point to where others have walked, but it cannot breathe life into where I must go. The ache of longing still returns. There are days when the safe road calls louder, when the nod of approval feels easier than the silence of walking alone. Safety has its own seduction, But safety can also be a cage dressed in the comfort of applause. And so I ask myself, what does approval buy me if it costs me my own life? A borrowed road may look smooth, but it ends unfinished. A risky road may tremble beneath me, but it is alive. I think of the step I took years ago, leaving behind a path that was respected, admired, but hollow. I was told I was foolish, that I was risking everything. Yet it was only when I stepped onto that uncertain road that I felt breath return to me. The ground shook, yes, but it carried me in a way the smooth road never did. That is how I learned the paradox. Risk can feel fragile, but it is also where life begins. The bend ahead lies hidden, as bends always do. I cannot see where it leads, and maybe that is the gift. For what makes a road alive is not the certainty of its end, but the truth of each step that begins it. So I whisper into the silence. Maybe the only arrival worth having is the one that trembles alive beneath my own feet.